Poems from an Open Heart by Ariana Daniele, translated by JOHN RYAN HORTON. The birth of everything green. If someone were to take my life now, right now, who would place the crown upon the saint? Who would close the doors to deprive me of the light? The birthstone rots like a premature fruit that has accepted its fate. They rummage, they find nothing in the rupestrian signs, the flowers possessors of unwitting hostility. Will they still be able to guide the child who has wandered from their path and looked after the joyful expression which a sudden wind can spoil? From laughter to mockery, parading all that is unjust, encrusted on every face. Every hollow conceals its secret petition. Who will arrive in time? If only I had the blessed education, that which is necessary to kill my writing. Loneliness is a pit that paints its confines in childhood. Language is full of blackouts. If someone were to take my life now, right now, I would ask the executioner to grant me his darkest wish. The game of light, of everything ascending. A step into the void is the ultimate step. What will I do with all these words that have not yet found their meaning, that have been born on the other side of the world? On the other side, I am, they say, still alive. It is also said that the thorns will once again become a danger. Like a child that puts a toy in my hands to tell me a secret, now the air is filled with its spirits. Shall we cradle the fossils and give them a name as well? We are barely awakened, the faint cry, at night the recurring dream of worlds. To whom shall I tell of that child born alive? I don't know why I do it anymore. I choose the most beautiful garments, the fabric torn in their most intimate folds, vestments that do not seethe their soul. I dress myself up to be inside, to cross myself in mirrors. I line my eyes in black, always above, never below. Upon closing them, an outline incomplete. And I think of the flowers that are destined for the deceased. The woman who carries them in her hands will be lucky enough to see it all. The poem must forget about the verdict. I dream without body of a creature that disrobes me. I am afraid to invoke the spirits. Everything I touch tells me that only they are able to get close enough. Posterity. Only a woman would be able to light a candle that cannot be extinguished. In every shadow hides another with its black pallum, wolves of an uneven bite. On the back of a dream it is written that eyes can turn corvid. Who will teach the children the word rebellion, the disobedience of the saints, and the desertion of the hive? The sweet legacy. We have come to signal the same old things, to leave when the sun falls, and play in the light that remains. We have come as wretched earthlings already full of dreams. We were like young people who write with the cursive of a will. Our ink has dried up little by little. We have deceived ourselves to reach the night of the soul, where nobody is witness to the steps that are taken. The value of a dream. Some things are forgotten too quickly and no one says a word to overcome the obstacle. How many times am I invited to love on this earth? How many times has the hand been extended to me, that which would be my refuge? The lesser is renunciation among men, so as not to offend the language to which I am called. I walk, searching for a soul to visibly shatter me. An encounter in the twilight, as if this life were mine alone. Pride is sorrow, and paltry is the presence of those who serve themselves. What substance am I made of, if only I know how to hurt? To not wear my heart on my sleeve, an impossible formula. And every mouth, every heart is a mirror of my disappearance. It has been conceded to me to be forgotten and to never forget. There is bitterness in the fruit of each season. Alone I will eat. The reading of the signs. There is room for everyone. How I wish I could believe in those words. What should happen does not happen. Here I am alone, without a home. Too wicked am I, not even God comes. Too virtuous, nor witches can I serve. I have no time to learn, that is my elusive rumor. Only the fire harbors names like mine. I have come for the moment of burning myself alive. Homesickness. No card hits the waiting hollow. Everything is for everyone, nothing is for no one. With just a signature, Joan of Arc gave rise to poetry. Tonight, to be condemned will be a privilege. The detachment. At this hour, I have given everything. The vertigo of having chosen the petrified tree without knowing of any occasion. A guest. Why do I go there, to the place unsuspected and nameless, to the unlearned, to the unsaid? The last act of innocence cultivates its beginning in illiteracy. Days where to name gives life, others where to be silent is to extirpate a word never confessed by the body of its mother. Save yourself, I save myself. The formula has been made into a flag. Who will mend the seam and touch with their open hand the habit of the one who walks before them? My first vocation. I looked in the mirror. The world is shattered. Words that don't reveal the paper among the ashes. There is harm in being one and not many. There is finitude in a desire wounded by passion. I will always be surprised at the freedom that has been given to me by my celestial words. I call, and nothing furrows. The world is mine, and I will cry louder than my poetry, the shackles of my gift, impossible to share. I, who asked for brothers, was given games. The illiterate. I protect myself from the world and neglect another world. Here is the origin of immobility. Who contemplates, ornaments a love that is safe to keep it for themselves? Yet so many things to learn in the steps I first took centuries ago. My shadow insists on writing its own biography, preparing itself like a child who spreads their pencils on the table, and having drawn the first line believes they have been around the world. Such is its joy in drawing that I no longer wish to teach it anything. The last innocence. Writing will not save you. A delicate wall is raised, or a stake is driven into the heart of the earth, the day one learned of that clear message without a messenger. Intuited or not, it matters little. No one can ever prove its reflection. The voice always grants us a question. Writing will not save you, yet here I am inside. If a child sees a cage, they expect a bird. The question of a cut flower. Who will love me if I stay? Is not permanence the helpless verb never placed in the mouth of another? Is not the rose in its garden a beauty left to drift away with the passing of time? Each death returns the stem of a flower. The night is the world in a second. They have already consumed everything before they were born, unafraid of that which may open will come. The weed grows, welcoming the body that was, humanity with no trace of a child. Forever. Reasons for the night to arrive that falls here like a shadow. I walk toward the hours like a broken heart, losing the tenderness of its hair. Now I walk around an enclosure I no longer inhabit. The heart is cerulean in the extremes of its suffering. One morning, if everything comes to die in the vigil, could I die in such a dream? I would like to wake up, to gather my words, those that remain arranged by the heart, becoming a world of order. The walls of the kingdom. I go like a vagabond calling out to the dead. I have wandered naked through the years, devoid of shame. What good has it done? I have on my body all the marks of this world. No spirit can enter. We have dreamed of the same substance. A gift. That which literature can never be is food for a bird that roams free. When we were children, the windows opened and closed. It was always the light, the performing hand. I want to return to the mornings where we still knew how to wake up in the name of the voice. Women pass by. Alive among those verses by the flame that is invited there, and invited I will burn upon my way back. Will I look through the shapeless mirror, not the one of 7 years of misfortune, but the one that surrenders its amorphous being to which every number is useless? I comb between my legs a secret, as a newborn would say, of the darkness from where it comes. I carry the fear with me like a child unprepared for the horizon. The sealed name. Here we are, the 6 of us gathered in your name, measurable by the flesh, imperishable by the last vowel. She who will not be present celebrates with lights in her eyes, the birth brought from beyond. The voice that trembles is the only dance that tells the truth. They are the ones who know how to speak. I am the one who keeps silent to designate the turn signal of every word. They are the ones who know how to speak. I am the one who finds the apex of the shadow and goes her own way. My time has not yet come. The hospice. In every word that does not kill conquers its portion of the shadow. In the cry of a child, the clef becomes a key. I dream of the end of these times, the only certainty I have. To the gods, nothing is accustomed. The extinct angels. Some are born to inhabit the shadow of a stone, to stay there excavating a perfect hole. Terrestrial food. In the celestial palm of the heavens, none can enter without their beating heart. I carry the weariness of the bird that has never left its flight. I search for a place where I can rest my truth. The throne of souls. I have wanted to move away, take refuge, to light fires and mirrors. Stranger is he who is called again and again by his name, still he responds, and with the candle extinguished in his hand drags the heat to the end of the twilight. A destiny. By the strings of my presence I wander about this century. Nameless, I am magnified. Where are those who have taken from me my portion in each one? The unavoidable condemnation of being empty-handed on the judgment day. From injustice I have learned the existence of this world. I was born. I am what I cry out for, what I submit to without submitting myself, the songs that I do not let go when my birth outlines their hypnotizing voices. How little have I left if I erase what does not belong to me. I cling to the nothingness that has no tongue. I usurp, yes, the poem. Night prayer. In the opposite way of oneself arrives the death of a hero. I long for the gaze which brings me to my knees to disobey. How many nights of deception to see how a light became a sign, and the pilgrim already gathering what remains of his belongings. Here I will wait without promise. We will stay close to one another, and it will be forbidden to be one on behalf of all. The binding word. Nothing would suffice to return a smile that is said to be lost. I intertwine the strings, stretching them tightly, holding back the pulse, domesticating myself for the thirst of the flame. The consummation. The days go by faithful perditions that do not even serve to hurt. Standing at the vertex of intelligence, I look out, invisible like a god who has deserted their heart. I wait for the slow passing of time. Outside of my soul, everything moves forward. I am the eternal wayfarer who enters their abode. Devotees. They make the highest beauty my cross. I resist my name. I am pursued by the creators of the night. They confuse my words, entangled within the threads of their breath, voices seeking their pillar of fire. Reliquary. Resurrect, die, and live. How will I pull myself from the silence? With what shall I speak if at last another soul crosses my path? Someone has spilled my perfume on an image. There are no dates or signs left in which to frame my face. The burial. The point of the compass has been stabbed into my heart several times. The dance of love is a perfect circle that fades from one place to another. I have become the epicenter of the world, poured out my balm. At last my beloved will rest. The rowan tree. A creature has chained me to this earth, to love. Everything else may be taken away from me. The kisses of my beloved ripen to be black. I no longer ask for shelter, I pray for songs so I may walk. All that forges wings poses dreams for silence. Woe to us of us who still come into this world as if we were entering the kingdom of heaven, dragging and dragging our chains. Nobody's rose. Someone has put my things at the door again. Someone is still telling me, come here, this is your kingdom. Someone like me waits behind the door for their name to be called before they enter. An angel has visited me. Night will fall like lightning. We shall dream of a world that is growing towards the primitive rose. The sweat of passion. The veil awakens me. Here is my name. I can remember nothing. I have brought words from that dream, words without shadow. I have quenched my thirst, and yet I am thirsty. A slow murmur opens my teeth. I want to spread my light to many men. What soul will understand my desire? I drink from my tears to quench my thirst, for the bread here does not multiply. I want to spread my light to many men. Must I confess this desire that burns my hands? What must I give of my flesh? Self-portrait. I have tried incessantly to undermine my own serenity. I have surrendered my beauty to the poem of each year. There is no path that reaches me. Passionately. It is time to give strength to every act. I think of long words, of long breath, and the preservation of relics in the books that lose their pages, the tattered spines that barely support the words of death. The corridors of fear. I returned to the darkened room where my heart was delivered as a verb of creation to the invisible hands of night. In me were poured the caresses of infancy with its warmth of spilled breath. Such were the bodies that the night brought me. No being palpable and named. Doors in the night. There is no key that sings its song, and no blade that leaves a weapon in my hand. The world searches for the necessary height in order to reach its face, watching over beyond all indifference, sharpening the silence even more. Hometown. I return to this place where the highest vibration is barely enough to straighten a thorn of the immense rose bush. I return like those beings who have lost their food 3 times from the same hand, and at the hour when the storm scrapes the skies and splits them apart. They go out into the streets to shine their depths, to light a fire in every body. Omen. To what destination do I smile under this light I have ignited? I was conceived like those fruits of great pits. I knew in days of joy that to write verses I would one day have to shed my leaves. A man of flesh and blood would lean on my branch, and I would be returned to the earth. The call. Here is the experience, the test of ink and blood. I have crossed over without a trace. I have been sent with a promise I bring to be seen at the sight of a miracle. The world to come. Giving birth at night, in the morning, in the evening, to give light to the child of eternity. Poets in times of hardship. Those of us who are illuminated by the loneliness of God wear a cold medal on our chest. We never understand the reason to celebrate, and to which death of whose life does our adventure correspond. 21st century. Life beckons me. You stayed behind, black sheep, painting yourself black amongst the black. Where is your flock? I kneel without seeking sin or punishment. I am here for the pleasure of confession. Life beckons me. You stayed behind, black sheep, painting yourself black amongst the white, and it became night. I turn one cheek, and then the other. I caress my burning skin. The heavens speak to me, open like the flower in the hand of an angel. Black and angelic light. He called himself God, a child of the light. He spoke to me of another God, a child of the darkness. This has been the history of the world. He who opens the gates too wide garners his ruin. He who fastens locks erects great fortresses. But he who walks on the rubble, a face of light, a face of shadow, also brings a message from above. Thank you.